Hi, everyone. Thanks for coming. My name is Weifeng Zhang. I'm the Bay Area co-lead of Intuit Asian Pacific Network. On behalf of our network, I'm so excited to partner with SBSEG today to co-host the first Prosperity Pop-Up of 2022. At Intuit, the employee network is an important part of our diverse and inclusive workspace. Lunar New Year is approaching. February 1st is the beginning of the Year of Tiger. The tiger represents the strength and bravery. I wish everyone a happy, healthy, strong new year. Asian Pacific Network has several events to celebrate the Year of Tiger with our employees, and this is one of them. Today, we're supporting one of our Asian-owned Quickbook customer, Mindy Fong, founder of the Jade chocolates. It specializes in blending chocolates with teas, spices, and tropical fruits. It was founded in 2008 and has received many awards since then. I had the opportunity to try some chocolates, and my favorite one is Orange Espresso. It has a strong, rich flavor. I really enjoy it. If you want to try some of these amazing chocolates, you can find the link to their website in the Zoom chat. In a few minutes, Wai-Ling Chai, our global lead of the network, will interview Mindy to find out more about her, how she runs her business, how she continues to build momentum and grow. Before we get started, here are a few things to know. We have a QA session at the end of their discussion. Please post your question in Zoom using Q&A feature, and we will get to them. We will also raffling off some of these chocolate bars to attendees who complete the post-event survey. It will be in Zoom as well. Our next virtual prosperity pop-up will be held on Friday, February 11th, in celebration of Black History Month. Thanks everyone again for being here. I'm now going to turn it over to Wai-Ling and Mindy. Wai-Ling, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Weifeng. Hello, everyone. Happy Friday. I'm Wai-Ling Chai, the global leader of Intuit's Asia Pacific Network. I am really, really excited to partner with SBSEG and Mindy Fong from Jade Chocolates, and we're going to have a conversation with Mindy shortly. Again, just like Weifeng, I've had the opportunity to try a couple of her amazing chocolates. I had to fight my husband over the mahal, which is the one with the Indonesian cinnamon, coconut, and the liang. So feel free to try the chocolates. We will have her website posted. Anyway, now I'm going to turn it over to the conversation with Mindy. Mindy, welcome. Thanks for joining us today. If you could please introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about yourself before Jade Chocolates.
So I am Mindy Fong, and I just want to say that I'm very nervous right now. I'm very shy. In fact, in kindergarten, I was put into ESL for 1 month because I didn't speak. So I have that carryover still all these years. So thank you for having me over. Before I started Jade Chocolates, I was an architectural designer. And I decided that that was not good for me to spend the rest of my life doing, because drawing in 2D wasn't something that I was passionate about. I needed more of a 3D art medium to do, so I chose chocolate as a way to express myself.
Thank you, Mindy. Tell us how you landed on the name Jade Chocolates. It's an amazing name.
Thank you. So I blend teas, spices, and tropical fruits from Asia and the Pacific Islands, and I wanted a name that kind of fit most of the nationalities and countries that I'm using. So I chose Jade. Jade is used not just in Asian countries, but throughout the whole entire world for centuries, many centuries. It's an old precious semi-stone. So it's also very auspicious to Asian countries.
Thank you very much. I know you mentioned about, architecture wasn't what gets you up in the morning and excited, but help us understand your journey on how you landed with chocolate, especially amazing specialty chocolates that you blend with the different spices. What's your inspiration behind that?
So in the beginning, I chose chocolate because I was researching back 14 years ago or so. That's when Starbucks was happening, was at its height, when they were building Starbucks across the street from each other. And I was researching and for other trends that are coming into fashion, and chocolate, artisan chocolate was one of them. So I know chocolate goes across all cultures. People love chocolate. So that's why I chose chocolate as my medium.
Thank you. So help me understand what you love about owning your own business and what inspires you every day to create some of your amazing chocolates.
Um, so I chose to do my cultural heritage as the focus for chocolate. In the beginning, I didn't have a focus, and it was really hard for me to figure out what flavors to do. So I just kind of thought back for a second. And actually, I started out with the name from a company as Cocoa Bites. Then someone told me that that was a generic cereal for Cocoa Pebbles, and I didn't really like what I was doing in that company, so I switched over right away. It lasted maybe 3 months or so, and so I chose Jade, and I chose to use flavors that I grew up with, so lots of teas, lots of tropical fruits, and spices as well. So that's how I chose Jade chocolates.
That's awesome. Thank you. I'm actually going to do a deeper dive on the chocolates since I had the opportunity to try some of them. So with your Gemini chocolate that actually won the Gold 2013 International Chocolate Awards, help us understand how you even came up. I mean, it was amazing. Help us understand the ingredients that went in it and how you even came about mixing all those ingredients, because it's just an amazing chocolate.
So actually, that was my first bar of the 7 bars that I have. That's the first bar that I created. And I went to my local Asian market on Clement Street and just walked up and down the aisles. And I saw a bag of the roasted brown rice. And I thought, oh, I could do an Asian version of the Nestle Crunch bar. Because I know that the genmai, which refers to the roasted rice, is used in Japanese tea with sencha. So I just mixed tea with the roasted rice and the chocolate, and it came up with the genmai bar.
Thank you. Everyone out there, if you haven't tried her amazing Genmai bars, make sure you get it. And it's a perfect time for Lunar New Year as well as Valentine's Day. So I'm going to switch a little bit and actually take a step back. You mentioned about, going with your heritage, and that's the inspiration behind your Jade chocolates and amazing bars. So tell us a little bit about your heritage.
I am half Chinese, half Filipino. My Chinese side has been here, or for me, I'm 5th generation. There's now 8 generations here living in the US. My Chinese grandmother, or my great grandfather from my maternal Chinese side, he was born here in Waverly Place in 1888. And my grandparents, they spoke perfect English growing up. And I knew that that was very different from all the other Chinese families that lived here, because none of their grandparents spoke any English at all. So I knew that was a little bit different for me. My grandfather, he immigrated here in around 1917 or so. As a teenager, he was a paper son, which meant that he came here illegally. He pretended to be somebody's son on paper, and they had sort of a mutual monetary agreement. So I guess he had to pay that person off in order to get here.
That's an amazing story. Thanks for sharing about your heritage. Now I'm going to switch over. We asked you what you love about, your business, which is your heritage. What are some of the challenges you face every day with running your own business, Jade Chocolates?
Oh, it's a little different with COVID now, because these past 2 years, I've lost all of my employees. Plus, I've moved to another location right before COVID hit in March, early March, and we still have not been able to open up. So it's been really hard for COVID. So my challenge is just staying up and running during this period.
Thank you. In addition to the COVID challenge, trying to stay, get your business continuing. I think I understand from you and earlier that you are planning on opening a store. Could you tell us how that's going and where that might be?
So my original store was in the Richmond district of San Francisco. And I knew that was just the opening, the gateway to having a retail shop because I couldn't afford anywhere else in the city. So my original store was not in a walking space. It was more of a driving street. So I had visibility, but not enough people. Also, the space was small. So I knew I was going to move out and I was looking at other places in the city. And one of my girlfriends said, oh, you should just try Chinatown, go to Chinatown. And she referred me to my now landlord. And my landlord, she is this wonderful lady who owns a lot of property on Grant Avenue. She owns a monopoly of Grant Avenue, which is great because she is single-handedly trying to uplift Chinatown by bringing in younger tenants with different things other than what you see now, which is the tourist knickknack shops and things like that.
That's awesome. We can't wait to see your store open on Grant in San Francisco, Chinatown. We're going to turn a little bit over to focus on you. With running your own business, especially during COVID and the challenges you have, how do you manage to do all of that and still take care of your own well-being?
I do have challenges with that still. I worked a lot, and my husband, he is also an entrepreneur, and he works just as much as me. We're both workaholics. He's a little bit more, he's better off because he's more focused, where I'm sort of more willy-nilly with things. And so it's good that he's helping me with trying to stay focused.
That's good.
Yeah, so we make sure to take vacations. We take one vacation with kids, which should be called a family gathering, not really a vacation. And then we take one without them, and we make sure we do that at least once a year. And then we also started to do this thing where we write on a piece of paper things we want to do, and we stick it in a jar. And we've pulled out a few to make sure that we're doing things other than work.
That's really awesome. We can take a page out of that. Thank you very much. So what is your new things that you're working on? What kind of bars are you focusing on next?
So originally I just had chocolate bars, bonbons, and some confections, but now with the new move, we're going to expand to a cafe. And I really love tea. Tea is my favorite beverage. So we're going to do afternoon tea with Asian Pacific Island flavors. We're going to do brunch, same thing, same flavors. And we're going to have an apothecary bar with non-mixed alcohol drinks, focusing on fancy milkshakes and sharbat, which is Persian drinks that are, sharbat was the predecessor to sherbet, sorbet, and ice cream. So it's mainly drinks to cool you down. So we're gonna change the drinks per season. And also, since we're in Chinatown, I'm going to do a line of bars that are not Asian Pacific Island flavors, but more San Francisco flavors. So on top of culture, I really like history. So I was researching food history of San Francisco and Chinatown. So we're gonna do bars based on that, bars based on a San Francisco food inventions. So we're gonna have the fortune cookie, sourdough, There's something called pink popcorn that used to get at the zoo. And the It's It bar, ice cream bar, and also coffee crunch cake. We're gonna do those 5 new flavors.
OMG, I am so dying to taste all of that.
Mhm.
So can't wait. We definitely will be checking your cafe out when it opens. So I do know you are a QuickBook customer. So what QuickBooks product do you use currently to run your business?
I use desktop QuickBooks right now.
Okay. And is there any feedback for us if it's working well? How do you use it? Do you do this on an ongoing basis, or just help us understand what you
It's
use?
working well. I used to only input invoices and then the checks that come in, but then my friend taught me how to actually reconcile. I'm not a pro at it. It's so complicated, but it's really good to understand where all the money is going to. I get a lot of parking tickets, obviously. That's something that I really needed to have an eye opening on,
Okay.
where I should be spending less and where I should be spending more money.
Okay. Well, maybe we can help you from that perspective. We have
Mhm.
QuickBooks people on the line. So what keeps you up at night? Just
Um,
from general, like especially focusing on your business.
I think too much actually, and keeps me up at night. It's just life. It's the worries of life. I worry too much, I feel. So I try to calm my mind down.
And how do you do that typically? How do you calm your mind down?
I try to watch, I actually try to watch TV. I try to not to be on my phone looking at email or on my computer, and I just try to walk away from work.
That's a good thing. Is there a favorite TV show you like that can help you calm your mind?
Well, even though I'm calming my mind, I still like to learn whenever I can. So I watch a lot of documentaries. I watch a lot of foreign movies because it helps me learn about other people, other cultures, and lots of travel shows too, because also with culture and food.
That's super awesome. What do you see as the biggest opportunity right now for your business?
I love that I'm going back to Chinatown. As I said, I'm 5th generation Chinese, and um, during the Chinese Exclusion Act and during the early 1800s, um, the Chinese were clustered in one part of the city, and they were not really allowed to go or live anywhere else unless they lived in where their boss was in the house as a servant. So I'm glad that I'm back in Chinatown because a lot of my family, they don't even think about coming back to Chinatown. But I love the neighborhood there. It's so much different than anywhere else in the city.
That's awesome. I love San Francisco Chinatown too. So we can't wait to go visit your cafe when
Mhm.
you open. So do you have any words of advice as a small business owner for other business owners or people who might be thinking of opening their own small business, especially during this challenging pandemic period?
I would say for sure, try to find something that you love to do. Um, when you start college, you're 18 and you're supposed to have a major. And I don't know anyone really, too many people that are still working in their majors who are my age. It's really hard to know what you want to do when you're a young adult. So, once you figure out your passion, it doesn't really feel like work anymore. So that's how I feel about Jade Chocolates. It's my longest career that I've had.
Well, we're really happy that you have
Mhm.
Jade Chocolates, and thank you for your advice. That's very, very sound advice. Mindy, I'm going to switch gear a little bit if it's okay with you. We're going to do a rapid round questions, if you will. We're going to have some fun. basically just say the first thing that comes to your mind, if that's okay with you.
Okay.
Okay. So what's your favorite childhood memory?
Philippines. So I lived there for a year,
Okay.
and I remember it so well because everything was so different. The food, the temperature, the way of life is so different. And so that's my favorite childhood memory.
So what's your favorite food?
Prime rib.
Cool. And are you a morning person or are you a night owl?
Both.
Okay. What's your favorite vacation spot?
Cabo San Lucas.
Okay,
I love it there.
cool. What's a fun fact about yourself?
I don't really like chocolate as much as people think I do to eat.
That's our secret then, along with all the people on the phone.
Mhm.
What
Well,
is
no.
Go ahead.
Well, you know, there's a saying, what's the saying? You're not supposed to eat your own stash or something like that. So that's me. You know, it's just the way I see it as a way to have a creative outlet and to express my cultural interests. So that's why I chose chocolate, not because I'm totally in love with it.
That's awesome. What is one thing you can't live without?
My family.
That's awesome.
Mhm.
If you had a magic wand, what is the first thing you would do?
I would have my shop open and not worry about the money.
That's really cool. I know chocolate is not necessarily your most favorite, but it's your creative outlet and it's your baby. What is your favorite chocolate bar in your lines of bars?
Oh, that's easy. It's the Orient Espresso. I actually created that for myself because cardamom is my favorite spice. I just love the smell of it, the warmth of it. It's similar to cinnamon, if you don't know what cardamom is. So it's a warm spice like cinnamon, and it's floral as well. And it has a nice, beautiful perfume smell to it, and it enhances the chocolate in the espresso in that bar.
That's super awesome. What's your favorite color?
I have color combination instead of colors. So I like green and blue, and I also like brown and yellow.
That's super awesome. What's the best piece of advice you've ever received?
To take it easy, to have fun with your life. So that's my goal for. I'm almost 50 now, so that's my goal for the next half of my life, is to have more fun with my business.
Well, you're going to be supported, definitely.
Mhm.
And it sounds amazing. Can't wait to try the other chocolates and keep it away from my husband. So thank you very much for spending time with us today. You are amazing. And we're really looking forward to having your San Francisco Chinatown coffee shop open. I'm actually now going to turn it over to Michael, who will manage our questions in the Q&A. Michael?
Thank you, Wiley, and thank you, Mindy, for being here and sharing your amazing story. So we already have tons of questions in the Q&A section. So everyone, if you would like to ask a question, please go to the bottom of the screen in the Q&A tab, and you can post your questions there. And also a reminder that we'll be giving away 10 prizes after this event. You will be entered in the drawing if you ask a question or fill out the survey afterwards, or just simply stay for the whole event. All right, let's get started with the question. Again, everyone, you can put your question in the Q&A section down below. So first question, Mindy. Mindy, thank you for being brave. Public speaking is nerve-wracking for most of us. Also, thank you for sharing your passion and heritage with us. what's the one advice you would share with someone about to launch their own business, first business?
I'm sorry, can you repeat the question?
What's your one advice you would like to share with someone about to launch their first business?
Oh, they should really get their team intact in the very beginning. And when I say team, I mean your lawyer, your CPA, and your designer. So your web designer and your brand designer. Those are the people that you really need to have on your team to launch you in the right direction.
Yeah. And do you think that you should also buy QuickBooks? Just kidding.
Yes, QuickBooks for sure.
Yeah. And here's another one. The other question, and I think this person who's asking this question is trying to be a competing business. How do you source your cocoa, and where did you get the molds?
So I just want to say there's a difference between a chocolate maker and a chocolatier. So I don't source cocoa or the beans. The difference between a chocolate maker is they make it from the bean, as opposed to the chocolatier, which is what I am. I get already made chocolate and use that to for my creations. So I use Guittard, which is here in the city. I use Valrhona, which is from France. I use Falcon and República del Cacao, which is South American. So I don't use one company because all the chocolates are every chocolate's so very different from each other. You just have to taste and try.
That's great to know. It looks like there's a huge ecosystem there. Thank you, Wendy. Let me see the next one. You must experiment a lot with flavor combinations. What has been the biggest disaster in combinations? And by the same token, your best and favorite hit?
I wouldn't say any disasters, but there's ones where it just was not cost efficient. So for instance, I tried to do a pu'er chocolate bar, but pu'er is very earthy. It doesn't really shine through with chocolate, and sometimes chocolate can be earthy as well. So there's why would you use pu'er when you can just have an earthy chocolate in the just use that chocolate instead. So yeah, that's my answer.
So not everything can be chocolate. Got it.
You just have to play around. Pu'er is actually also an expensive tea, so
I see.
yeah.
Thanks. Another one is also about ingredients, but a little bit different. Are there ingredient lists so I can find out what products are vegan?
There's no ingredient list on my website, but you can always email me. If it says bittersweet, then there's no milk in it.
Okay, thank you. Another question. The colors all plant derived. Do you grind your own cocoa beans? Oh, that's being answered, but the color question, is it all plant derived?
Do I grind my own cocoa beans?
Uh-huh.
No, so that's a chocolate maker. So I'm
Yeah.
a chocolate.
Yeah, and then the other part of the question is about the colors. Are they derived from the plants?
The color of the chocolate?
Yeah.
No. Well, it can. So there's a chocolate that I use that is pink, naturally pink. So I guess yes to both ways. Roasting also affects color, roasting the beans.
Got it. Thank you. Sorry, it gets a little bit technical. We're not trying to steal your trade secret. Okay, let's switch gear. The next question is about how do you manage taking care of kids and having your own business?
Well, thank God for after school care at the schools. They didn't have that when I was growing up. So it's really good to have the extended care in elementary schools. That really helps. Also, my partner does a lot of the driving of the kids, so he's the one doing most of the work for the kids, which is good for me.
That's good to know. Thank you. Next one, I think it's going to be an easy one for you. Do you ship your chocolates?
I do. So it's only within the US though.
Okay, thank you. Do you also shipping to Canada?
No, I tried once before and there's too many tariffs and things like that. So I just don't bother.
Okay, thank you. Next question. Do you ever feel like giving up with your business or doing something else?
Yes. Yes, especially during COVID. It's been so hard, so very hard to try to raise money to do everything yourself when you have no employees during COVID. I've thought a lot, but so many people are invested in my success, and my landlord especially, she really is proud of me for what I'm doing, and she knows that I just need to get open and I know it'll be successful.
Thank you. That's really inspiring to hear. Next question is, okay, that's a hard one, but I'll ask it anyway. What is holding you back from using QuickBooks Online?
Oh, I'm a procrastinator. That's the only reason. I should really switch over.
Mhm.
I don't really know what the difference is, if you can tell me.
Yeah, maybe someone on the call will help. Thank you for being honest on this. Next one is about Lunar New Year. Do you have any Lunar New Year tradition? If so, what is it?
So I grew up mainly American, because I'm both Filipino and Chinese. So the commonality between my parents was English. So I don't speak anything other than English. And so we don't really do too much other than just have a dinner, basically. But when I was younger, when my grandparents were around, they would have the tray of togetherness in their house, and I would love to eat the watermelon seeds that they used to have in the Starburst. Some Chinese people don't know what that tray is, which I find very interesting.
Yeah, I love those seeds. Thank you. The next question is, what is Jade Chocolate's top selling chocolate?
It depends on what line you're talking about. So Genmai for sure, for the chocolate bars, that's by far the best seller. You have the floral aftertaste and the roasty crunchy brown rice to it that people really love. So it is really a high-end version of a Nestle Crunch bar. For confections, it's the rice patties, which is also crunchy. They're like little balls of chocolate covered rice cereal with almonds and mangoes in it. People love that. But as a whole, the bonbons are the best sellers, the little truffles.
Cool, that's good to know. All right, the next one probably has been answered already, but it's worth repeating. Are you in San Francisco? What is your website for shipping orders? Excited to try.
It's jadechocolates.com. My website.
Mhm. And you're in San Francisco for sure. Yeah, you're in the
Yes.
center of it. Thank you. The next question is, what aspect of starting your business did you expect to find most challenging, and which aspect really was the most challenging?
The most challenging, I think, in the beginning was sourcing packaging, sourcing labels as well. And also just getting up and running was kind of hard. In the beginning, I did wholesale. And so that's how I got the word out, just by selling to the stores around here. At one point, I used to have 72 different accounts. And then that kind of scaled back, and I did more festivals, and that got the word out a little bit quicker. And then 5 years in, I started my first retail business. So if I went the route where I had the retail business first, I don't think I would be as successful. I think I would have lost a lot of money that way. because you're just waiting for people to come into your shop and they don't know who you are. So it was good to go the wholesale route first.
That's good to know that you started as wholesale. Thank you. Next question, it's an interesting one. Do you work with other businesses in Chinatown? I know there's a great loose leaf tea place that I went to years ago, and I was just wondering if you reach out to them to help build each other with your businesses.
I do use tea from a place in Chinatown, the Aroma Tea Shop. I use a lot of their teas. And also there's the Fortune Cookie Factory there. So I'm going to be using for my new bar, and have the Fortune Cookie line as well, the chocolate bar. So I do collaborate with other companies.
Good, that's good to know. Yeah, there's still a tons of questions to answer, but we're gonna take 2 to 3 because we are running on a time limit. So I'll just randomly choose a few. This question is asking, are you interested in expanding?
Depends on what expanding means. I don't think that I want to have any more shops because I'm tired of moving. I actually had another shop in the financial district, but I had to shut that down for COVID reasons. So that I don't think that thing is gonna where that area is. I don't think it's gonna be up and running anytime soon.
Thank you. That's good to know. Yeah. The other question is, do you make any special products for Lunar New Year?
This year, unfortunately, I'm not able to because I've only have my 2 hands and no workers. But originally, I would do chocolate covered orange peel. I'm sure there's other things I can't think off the top of my head, but we do have the peanut butter mango jams. There's the 6-pack of that. And also the mint gingers, which is in the form of mahjong tiles. We have those.
Those sounds good. Thank you. Yeah. And the final question, I think it's an interesting one. Do you hold virtual chocolate making events for team building?
No, no, I'm too shy to do it. I'm not able to do that, but I know I need to get over that hump, which is why I'm here. So thanks for the opportunity to help me get over my fears, but I don't think that I'll do anything over Zoom for virtual chocolate making. It's a little bit better for me to do it more intimate in the shop. So I probably would do more shop classes.
Yeah, but if you do that, do let us know that we can join as well. You know what? I'll try to squeeze in another question if you don't mind. I see there are a couple of items out of stock, like the rice patties is one. Any idea when you have that back in stock? I'd love to try.
It'll be back by next week.
Oh, that's great to know. Thank you. All right, I think that's all the time we have. A huge thank you to you, Mindy. Thank you for sharing your story and answering all the questions to us. And thank you everyone for joining this event. Don't forget that chocolate are great presents for Valentine's Day as well as Lunar New Year. Of course, the SBSEG team is holding these events on a regular basis with the goal of continuing to support our small businesses to hear their stories. We'd love to hear some feedbacks from everyone. So please keep an eye out for a short survey in your inbox. Thanks again, everyone, for supporting our small businesses. Thank you again, Mindy. Thank you, Wai-Ling. Thank you, everyone. Enjoy the rest of your day and have a great weekend. Happy New Year.
Thank you.